Welcome, friends. Welcome, friends. A whole lot of frying today.
Glenn's had a very busy day with the fryer, yes.
Yes, pressure frying, not a whole lot of fun, but all in the name of pseudoscience. So, this is episode 3 of our Kentucky Fried Chicken journey.
Yes.
And in front of us, we have Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then these 3 are recipes that are out there in the wild that people claim to be the
The
original
original recipe.
KFC recipe. So this one is the Marion K spices, which allegedly, I'm only going to say allegedly because I don't want to be at the end of a lawsuit, but allegedly Colonel Sanders
The internet suggests
that Colonel Sanders went to Marion K and said, I want you to make my spice mix because I don't like the spice mix that KFC is making. And at that point, Colonel Sanders still owned the Canadian restaurants. So he had the right to make his own spice mix for the Canadian restaurants, and apparently that's what they made.
But you know, every time you talk to someone else, the story is different.
Well, that's right. We spoke to someone at
The Claudia
Sanders, who knew Colonel Sanders. He was at the Claudia Sanders restaurant. He owns the Claudia Sanders restaurant. He bought the Claudia Sanders restaurant.
He used to work
from
for
the
them.
Colonel, and he contradicted everything I'd ever read about Colonel Sanders, which is great because it just makes him more of an enigma.
Yes. The mysterious
The
Colonel.
mysterious Colonel. So that's recipe number 2. Recipe number 3 is sort of the gray web. There's a whole bunch of notice boards where people talk about the KFC original recipe. And so some guy named Ken, and Ken, if you're watching, thank you very much for putting in so much time, has come up with this recipe that he thinks is very close. And he's done a lot of research. And this third one is from the Chicago Tribune. I think about 2016, they were doing a story
And they suggested that they had found.
that they suggested that they had found the OG KFC recipe. So we're going to try them. I didn't want to do a blind tasting because I think we need to taste the KFC and then compare and
Of course,
contrast.
the irony, of course, is that like anything, tastes change over time.
Well, yes,
And any one of these could be the original,
but we don't.
but the original is no longer what's made in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? Because tastes change, marketing changes. It's just, life, my friend, life.
We've got a palate cleanser for those of you that are worried about our palate cleansing. Okay,
All right.
so we'll start with the actual KFC. I'm only going to take a couple bites. Tastes like KFC.
Peppery.
Yeah, white pepper.
All peppery and good. Oh, yeah,
'Kay.
sorry.
Now, the Marion K.
Okay. Hot?
No, just juicy.
Okay. So I was afraid
yeah,
it was still too hot and I was going to,
It's not hot, it's juicy. I've been playing around with this pressure fryer for a little while now, and I am amazed at how juicy the chicken is after you fry it in this thing.
So a similar flavor, but not as peppery.
Yes, I don't get that. It's almost in the ballpark, but there's not as much white pepper, I'm going to say.
Okay. Okay.
On to Ken's. Oh yeah, palate cleanse.
Cleanses is a little closer, I think. And cleanse is a little closer. This still not as peppery.
Okay, so I know what's in these. There's one spice in here that I think is too
Too much?
much.
In comparison to this one, or
In comparison to both of these, there is a spice in here that I don't taste in either of those.
okay.
Can you pick it out? I know what it is because it jumped to my brain immediately.
No.
Clove.
Okay.
Ken's has clove in it, a very small amount of clove and a very small amount of allspice. And I think those two are jumping out at me, and I don't get that in either of those. On to the Chicago Tribune. Oh.
Yep. Okay.
Do you get that?
I still wouldn't identify it as cloves, but I
Okay.
think it's something that is stronger in this than in this.
Okay.
But I think it still might be here. But I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. What do I know?
We're just tasting.
I'm just I'm just an ordinary person.
So, Chicago Tribune.
Well, I'm only gonna have the skin. Did you cook that one differently at all?
Nope. To me, to my mind, not even close.
No.
Not even close. So, and here's the thing. So, the spice mix for these two, and as I've watched a lot of behind the scenes KFC videos over the last little while, the spice mix that I see being poured into the flour with the KFC as well, it's all gray black. This one was decidedly red because it's got a ton of paprika in it. And
Okay, so that's the
and that's there's an overwhelming flavor of paprika in this Chicago Tribune one, and I would say that's not part of this canon.
our known. Yeah, this canon. Listen to you.
So, Chicago Tribune leaked KFC recipe that was all over the internet a couple of years ago that hundreds of YouTube channels tried and said, "Oh, it's exactly the same." No,
We don't think it's exactly the same.
not even close. I'm not
At
even
least
gonna,
not the same as this particular
Nope.
version that is today's version.
So, of the two that are left,
You know, it's funny. I almost want to make both of them, but with more white pepper, just to pull that flavor in and to see how it balances out. Because I just, it's like, because they're both missing that distinct flavor. I'm having a hard time. Like if this had that kind of level of pepper flavor, would it mask the clove flavor a little bit more
maybe.
and balance that out?
So maybe it is
Like-
adding more white pepper. So the Mary and Kay we can't do anything with because it is a spice mix.
You could still add more white pepper if you
could
wanted.
add more white pepper.
If it was your preference, but I can see how they're related though. Like I can see how they're similar. Oh boy, yeah, that's really really juicy there, Glenn.
Okay. So
Don't touch
did I get it all down?
No,
Okay.
you did okay.
Here's the thing. I'm going to put these recipes and the Chicago Tribune recipe down below. Both of these and the Chicago Tribune are good fried chicken recipes.
Oh yeah, that's yes.
These are all tasty fried chicken, and I would eat any of these and say,
Thanks for bringing that.
thanks for bringing the chicken. But I think I'm going to play with Ken's. I think this is the starting point for me. Take Ken's, bring up the white pepper,
Yes, definitely bring up the white pepper.
maybe take down the clove and the allspice a little bit.
I don't know. It's hard to say. You may want to just do one
I may just want to play with one for a little while.
at a time. We'll tell you how it works out. I'm sure we'll eat 4 or 5 versions before.
And the other thing
we
is
get to
a
sharing.
lot of people get hung up on this 11 herbs and spices.
That is the thing. There's 11 different spices and herbs.
Did Colonel Sanders mistakenly believe that salt was an herb or a spice? Because a lot of people do.
Well, that doesn't mean. Hold on. It depends how you're defining.
It's a seasoning, and
It is a seasoning.
and he may have lumped that in, and so this drive to put 11 actual herbs and spices.
Is this your theory?
Maybe filling in somewhere with something that isn't necessary.
That there were 11 things and they just called them herbs and spices because it was easy to. There's 11 things in this.
It's
mix.
marketing.
Yeah,
Marketing.
there's
It's
11
all marketing. And the other thing is, this is called 99X, and so for all of you chemists out there who are saying, oh, you're supposed to put so much of that. The X, just like the 7X in our Coke video, is just a marketing thing. Only about marketing.
What? It's not
No.
MX plus B or
No,
anything like that?
no.
No?
Just marketing. So I think we've got a good starting point now to refine the rest of this recipe.
I'm looking forward to it. It's summer season. It's a great time to eat a lot of fried chicken.
Yeah.
Make it up, take it out, go for a picnic.
Okay, so come on back and we're going to refine this further and we're going to nail this recipe.
Okay? Maybe. Ish.
Yeah.